Today we're going after a monster that's probably hiding in your cloud environment right now. I'm talking about the ever-growing, budget-devouring beast of log management. If you've ever stared at your cloud bill in total disbelief, wondering how your logs are costing more than your actual servers, yeah, stick around. This one's definitely for you.
It's a simple question, right? But boy, does it hit home for so many of us. We need logs for, well, everything. Observability, security, debugging. But at what cost? That creeping feeling that your logging expenses are just spiraling out of control, it isn't just in your head. It's a real and growing problem.
So what if you could slash up to 40% off your annual log management bill? Now, that's not a typo. By applying just a few smart architectural principles, you can actually take back control. That number right there, that is exactly why the next few minutes could save you a serious amount of money.
Let's start by giving the problem a name, shall we? Log bill shock. It's that moment at the end of the month when the invoice lands and the numbers are just way higher than you expected, all because of log volume. It's an all too common story in the cloud world.
And this really gets to the heart of the dilemma. I mean, logs are the lifeblood of a modern application. They tell you what's working, what's broken, and who might be trying to break in. But as our systems grow and spread out across multiple clouds, the sheer volume of data they generate becomes this huge, and even worse, unpredictable financial liability.
Okay, but enough about the problem. Let's talk solutions. We're going to build a strategic framework based on 4 pillars of optimization. Now, this isn't about random tips and tricks. This is a cohesive strategy to fundamentally change how you manage log data, and more importantly, its costs.
These are our 4 pillars: filtering, sampling, tiering, and compression. Each one targets a different part of the log lifecycle to drive down costs, but without sacrificing that critical visibility we all need. So, let's break them down, one by one.
First up, filtering at the source. Honestly, this is your most powerful line of defense. Just remember this one rule. The cheapest log to process and store is the one you never send in the first place. This is all about making a conscious decision right at the agent or even the application level about what's actually worth collecting. And the impact here is immediate. You're not just saving on ingestion fees, you're also saving on data transfer. You know those painful egress costs? The key is to just eliminate the noise. Think about those super verbose debug logs a developer accidentally left turned on in production. Filtering gets rid of that high-volume, low-value data before it ever costs you a single dime. Our next pillar is intelligent sampling. You know, for certain types of data, you just don't need every single event to understand the big picture. Sampling lets you keep a statistically significant slice of the pie to analyze trends, while strategically just dropping the rest. So where is this perfect? Well, think about homogeneous, high-volume logs. A great example is successful HTTP 200 responses from a load balancer. Do you really need all 10 million of them to know your service is healthy? Probably not. Sampling gives you that critical health signal at a fraction of the cost. It's a trade-off, for sure, but it is an incredibly smart one to make. Pillar number 3 is tiered retention. Not all data has the same value over time. A log from 5 minutes ago, that's critical for debugging an active incident. A log from 5 months ago, that's likely only needed for a compliance audit. So why on earth would you pay the same price to store both? This is all about matching your storage cost to the data's actual value. You keep recent, critical logs in expensive, hot storage for instant access. Then older logs move to warm or even cold tiers, which are significantly cheaper. This way, you can meet those long-term compliance needs without paying premium prices for data you barely ever touch. And our final pillar is a fundamental one: data compression. It sounds so simple, but its impact is huge. By just reducing the physical size of your logs before they even leave the server, you save on both network transfer and storage costs. It's a straightforward win that makes all our other strategies even more effective. Okay, so we have our theory. We have our 4 pillars. Now, let's get real and apply it to the world of the major cloud providers. It's time for a quick cost showdown. So, at a high level, each platform kind of has its own personality. AWS CloudWatch is the powerful, deeply integrated default, but its pricing can feel like it has a million moving parts. GCP Cloud Logging is known for its simpler pricing and its incredible analytical power through BigQuery. And then Azure Log Analytics is, of course, tightly woven into its ecosystem, and it rewards commitment with better pricing. Let's really break this down. First, notice that ingestion cost is a key driver for everyone. That's exactly why filtering and sampling are so critical.
But now look at hot storage. See how Azure includes it in their ingestion price, while AWS and GCP charge for it separately? That is a crucial detail. And for archive storage, they all offer cheaper options, which is where our tiered retention strategy comes into play. Understanding these specific platform differences is how you apply our 4 pillars to actually save money.
All right, we've covered the problem, the strategy, and the platforms. Now for what I think is the most important part, putting it all into action. Here is your checklist to get started.
This is what you can literally do tomorrow morning. Start by auditing. Find your top 5 noisiest services, because that's where the biggest wins are hiding. Then, define clear retention policies. Actively deploy filters to cut out the junk. Evaluate where sampling strategy makes sense. And finally, review your bill. Scrutinize it, understand exactly where the money is going so you know exactly where to focus your efforts.
At the end of the day, I want you to remember this. The goal isn't fewer logs, it's smarter logs. This is not about flying blind. It's about collecting the right data, storing it in the right place for the right amount of time, and all at the right cost. And that leads to my final question for you. Armed with this framework, what is the very first inefficiency in your logging pipeline that you are going to tackle? Think about it, because that first step is how you really begin to tame the beast. Thanks for joining me.